Hi, I'm John Norman. In this video, we're going to talk about fires in multiple dwellings, garden apartments, and townhouses. Fires in these structures are an all too common occurrence, and they present a very high life hazard to occupants and firefighters alike. Multiple dwellings are buildings that house 3 or more families, and they're often several stories high. In addition to apartment houses and tenement buildings, multiple dwellings also include garden apartments, sometimes incorrectly called condominiums. Townhouses, while actually private dwellings, will also be discussed here due to their many similarities in construction and tactics to garden apartments. Fires at multiple dwellings present several problems, including a high life hazard with many occupants. They're often built with combustible construction that has many hidden voids for rapid fire travel, difficulties in stretching hose lines, and navigating stairways. The high life hazard and numbers of fire-related deaths at multiple dwellings is due to several common problems these structures present. One is the varying schedule of its residents. Because the sleeping patterns of a building's many occupants can vary greatly, fire can catch residents asleep at any time of the day or night. The size of the building and the compartmentalization of living spaces can add to the life hazard. Residents on floors above a fire may not become aware of the danger until after the safe exits are blocked by smoke or fire. The officer in command must take into account the added time factor created by the size of the building involved in accomplishing even a seemingly simple task. For example, if the fire is in a sofa on the 5th floor and could be controlled with just a water extinguisher, it's still a good idea to bring a hand line up. By the time the firefighters find the right apartment and force entry, the entire room may have flashed over. Perhaps most importantly, many multiple dwellings contain construction features that promote the rapid fire spread. Recognizing these common problems early will help us devise the tactics most effective in dealing with them. Apartment buildings and tenements, often found in older cities, pose unique problems compared to fireproof multiple dwelling structures. And the more recently built garden apartment and townhouses have their own set of challenges. Most multi-story apartment buildings are easily identified as multiple dwellings, but many older homes have been converted into multiple dwellings, legally or illegally. Illegal conversions usually pose a much greater life hazard, as required fire safety features such as enclosed stairways, fire escapes, and sprinkler systems are often absent. Several gas or electric meters, numerous doorbells, and many mailboxes are sure signs of a multiple dwelling. If you arrive at what you thought was a private dwelling and find it's actually a multiple dwelling, request additional assistance right away. You'll need to perform a more extensive search and possibly multiple rescues. Inside, padlocks on interior rooms can indicate single-room occupancy, or SROs, where a person or a whole family rents a room and shares a toilet and other facilities with other occupants. In SRO situations, every room must be searched. Even those padlocked from the outside have been found to contain children locked in by their parents. Let's take a look at some different types of multiple dwellings and go over some of the challenges they present. Apartment buildings may contain several apartments on each floor, are often several stories high, and may have several wings. The loss of life in these multiple dwellings is often caused or compounded by building features that promote a fast-spreading fire. For instance, in many older structures, an open interior stairway runs from ground level to the roof. This can lead to rapid mushrooming on the upper floors. In modern buildings, apartments are equipped with fire-rated doors, and a stairwell is also usually a fire-rated enclosure. These improvements help keep fire contained within an apartment as long as the doors stay closed. But if a fleeing occupant leaves an apartment door open, the fire has easy access to the stairs. Depending on the configuration of the building, a variety of stair types can be found in multiple dwellings. It's critical you know which staircase leads to the fire before you commit the hose line. Otherwise, you may find yourself on the 5th floor with no access to the seat of the fire. Other multiple dwelling construction practices include kitchens and bathrooms stacked on top of each other, creating pipe chases that run the height of the structure. If fire has involved a kitchen or a bathroom, make it a high priority to get to the same location on the floor directly above and on the top floor to see whether fire is traveling within the pipe chases. If you're working in heavy smoke conditions and searching for fire, the easiest way to locate this chase is to find and open up the wall directly behind the toilet. The toilet requires the largest diameter pipe, so it's in this wall the biggest pipe chase will be found. Open it up and get water going up and down that shaft to cut off any extending fire. Channel rails are another type of void that can be just as dangerous but harder to find. Channel rails are steel columns that run the height of the building and support horizontal girders. They're often boxed out with wood lath, and they offer fire a highway for extension to the cockloft. Finding channel rails can be quite time-consuming. Since they are a structural feature and not a lifestyle feature, they can be anywhere in the floor layout, and the architect usually tries to hide them inside walls where their extra thickness won't be noticed, such as in a closet. Steel framing is generally used in Class 3 buildings that are more than 25 feet wide, and you'll likely find channel rail voids in these type of structures. Remember, the two greatest threats to the structure in the event of fire are from pipe chases and channel rails, because they allow hidden fire, heat, and smoke to quickly spread to upper stories and the cockloft. Multiple dwellings often contain other types of shafts, such as compactors and elevator shafts. Elevators are generally required to have 2-hour fire resistance ratings and don't usually account for serious fire extension hazards, although they can spread heat and smoke to upper floors. Compactors have caused serious fires when burning rubbish inside the chute ignited combustibles on several floors at once. Regardless of the shaft type, when you find fire in any vertical void, be certain to check the top of the shaft where it enters the cockloft and the bottom as well, since falling embers could result in fire breaking out below the operating forces. I know of at least one large hotel fire that was totally destroyed by this situation. Embers fell to the bottom of the shaft and started a fire that built up until it broke out below the members operating on the upper floors. Open all the vertical arteries that have been exposed to fire and get water into each one, both up and down the shaft. In addition to these vertical shafts, larger multiple dwellings may have light and air shafts designed to bring ventilation and daylight to rooms in the middle of the structure. These can allow fire to extend horizontally across the shaft and into windows or apartments directly across from the fire apartment, as well as vertically. Buildings with duplex and triplex apartments can also cause trouble for fire forces. Duplex apartments have living space on 2 floors of a building, while triplexes have space on 3 floors. The stairway within each apartment is open and unprotected, and descending this stair for a fire on a lower level is like going down to a cellar fire. General difficulties with access can also be problematic. Many multiple dwelling complexes are developed with little thought to fire department access and operations, making it difficult for apparatus and hose lines to reach the seat of the fire. Now that we've reviewed some of the challenges apartment and tenement buildings present in fire situations, let's talk about general firefighting operations in these multiple dwellings.